see you all here. We're all alive and well.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm going to ask Karina Cole to lead us in the pledge. Karina? Is that you? Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and we have Pastor Amy from First Assembly of God Church.
All right, let's pray. Dear Lord, as the members of this community gather here today, we pray for peace to dwell within our hearts and throughout these proceedings. May we embrace unity, fostering relationships that bridge our differences and encourage understanding among us all. We also pray for our new city manager, Kevin Cole, as he joins our mayor and city council. May he see the plan you have for our city and be able to accomplish all that is needed. We ask for your grace, health, and favor to guide us. May we continue to be a united people, recognizing that though our beliefs and opinions may differ, it is our shared humanity that binds us together. May we choose to be better instead of bitter, to embrace gratitude over griping, and to accommodate rather than argue. May these choices shape us, forging deeper connections among neighbors and friends. Lord, strengthen our resolve to walk hand in hand, fostering peace and understanding as we build a brighter tomorrow. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bildering.
Here.
Councilwoman Ramirez.
Here.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Here.
Mayor Mintz.
Here.
All present.
Okay, we have no closed session announcements. Any changes to the agenda? None? Okay, announcements. These proceedings may be viewed on demand on the City of 29 Palms website at www.29palms.org. May you also live stream this meeting by going to our website, clicking on meeting agenda link. Awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamations. We have cash for trash. So our first one would be Feathers and Fur Wildlife Rehab Team. So come on up.
Thank you for helping to clean up our neighborhood. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you helped to clean up at?
Just want to say thank you to the city and thank you to the program that had this set up. So it was in a small spot, about not even, I wouldn't say 200 feet south of the Freedom Plaza off of Cactus Drive and Smoke Tree Avenue. There was quite a bit of trash there. We did the best we could to get as much as we could out of it, but a lot of it was just entangled in the large bushes. And we tried, again, our best to get as much as we could out of there. I think in total, we probably spent 3 hours cleaning up all the trash there. And most of it was just like random parts of plants that we just decided to get rid of. And it took a few truckloads to get out. We had, I think, a total of, maybe 12 people helping us with it. And she's the one that helped organize it, Miss Connie over here, Miss Connie Lancy, helped organize it. She's the one that runs Fur and Feathers Rehab. Jeremiah and I have been volunteering there. I've been there for 4 months-ish, I'd say, beginning of January. And I kind of heard about it through some of my other friends and whatnot. And it's a good program. She's got a lot of animals. Sometimes I even wonder how she manages to handle all the craziness with some of it. But the cleaning up the trash and whatnot was a good way to help the city get all what needed to be cleaned up in that one spot. And again, thank you to the city and to the program that set it up. And I'm gonna let Jeremiah have his word.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Jeremiah. Like you said, I just want to say thank you for everyone here. Thank you, city, for setting this up. The program that also set this up again, like you said. I'd say the trash, like just picking up the trash, it really felt rewarding at the end of the day. Even though it was some hard work, fighting that vegetation and whatnot, trucking a lot of loads of trash out, filling up the dumpsters and stuff. It was still pretty fun doing it with people like Bradley and Connie. Really good people, really fun. You might think it's like hard work, but it goes by really quick when you got some people to laugh with.
And I want you guys to know that these are active Marines right here. These are
Thank you for your support. Yeah, thank you guys for your support. I know there's probably some others out in the crowd that have family here, whatnot, in the military, but thank you guys too. Yeah, just thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to everyone who isn't here. Yeah. You know? But.
Thank you so much. So I have a check from the city of 29 Palms as well as from Burtech. I'd like for Ms. Connie, why don't you come up too and take a picture with us as I present these checks.
Oh, thank you. Wait, I get to stand in the middle of you.
All right, you got it.
All right, well, thank you very much. Next, we got the Kiwanis Club of 29 Palms.
Hello. Miss Danielle.
Hi. This is Chambers family. It's Kobe.
Hey,
and
Kobe.
this is Victoria.
Victoria, thank you. On behalf of the city of 29 Palms and Burtech, I really appreciate the work that you did to help clean up our community. Can you tell us a little about where you did your cleanup at?
So we got fortunate. We didn't really end up in the desert. We actually went right down the street here between Desert Dunes and White Sand Drive, which at first it looked at like, oh, this is nothing. We'll get done. And it took us about an hour and a half, and this young man here, who was actually going to high school in August, actually did most of the work. So if it wasn't for the Chambers family, we would not have been able to complete the project. So I just would like to publicly acknowledge them and say thank you because just publicly, I am the youngest member in our club. So yeah, so having this young man help us with that project really did help. So thank you guys.
It's the best place to practice.
I don't say. Thank you, City of, excuse me. Thank you, City of 29 Palms for handing this check to Miss Danielle. She tried Kiwanis, for her spending time to pick up and help out the community.
And another thing, he is a cadet too. So,
right.
yeah, he's representing them too. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that part, yeah.
So on behalf of the city of 29 Palms and Burtech, I have a check from our city as well as Burtech, and I'll go ahead and give it to the young man. We'll come over here.
And thank you all.
All right, thank you. And next we have the 29 Palms High School Interact Club.
Hey, sir. Nice seeing you. Oh, you're lone solo today, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you on behalf of the city of 29 Palms for helping to beautify our community. Why don't you share a little bit about where you helped to clean up at?
We share, my bad. We cleaned up right across like from the fire station on Adobe, kind of like a little bit down the street. It took us about maybe 3 hours. We only had like 4 people. So it was just me and my friends, and like it just took us a little bit, but it's all good. And thank you to the city of 29 Palms and Burtech, and yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I also want to note that the 29 Palms Interact Club actually helped to place flowers on veterans' graves this Memorial Day here at the 29 Palms Cemetery. And so I want to thank you for that as well. Why don't we come up front and take a picture?
All right, thank you. Okay, we have a presentation by the Youth Council of a Year in Review. Miss Amy, are you doing it, or is the president doing it? Oh, all right.
Good afternoon, City Council and members of the public. Okay, so this is the accumulation of all our work throughout the year of 2025 through 2026. So first off, we started in February a food drive at grocery outlets. It's a consecutive thing we did last year. We saw the outreach, it was wonderful, so we decided to do it again. And as you can see, we had a very amazing outcome. Thank you. 29 Palms City Council Olympics was our next very big thing that we did last year. Sorry. Was essentially the accumulation of like our biggest event. And this is something that we tried to create for the youth because we saw there's nothing out here to do for the youth. So we decided to change that. And the kids were having fun, they were interacting, they even got to dunk members of the youth of the city council, which it was pretty funny to see that, including the goggles from Mr. Wright, as you can see there. And the next one was astronomy night in May. So this was quite amazing because I feel like we underutilize the observatory. We don't take advantage of the great opportunities we have in this city. It's one of the things that makes this city 29 Palms. We have to value it. And of course, we have been doing a senior center volunteering every month. I believe the fourth Wednesday of every month. And we love seeing our seniors and they love seeing us. And we're gonna continue doing it. And we would love to see more youth show up, not just us, but to have it continuous and keep going even when we're not there. And then we've also been working on a project, Youth as Solutions. So we had to do a project, see what we had in this city that the youth is facing. What is the struggles that is silent, that they're not being heard? And we saw it was vaping. And so we decided to do these wonderful stickers and signs that we put all over the schools. And we also had, essentially it was the primary goal of the Youth Olympics for this year. And so we passed them out and we put them on bags and whatnot. And we also did a I Pledge Not to Vape sign that children, whoever showed up to the Youth Olympics, got to sign. And then this is the docathon that we've been doing. So all the vaping, all the projects, all that, this is the accumulation of it. And I'm not sure how to okay, there we go. Is it connected? So this is supposed to have a very cinematic experience, but due to technical difficulties, I guess we're gonna have to use our imagination for this. So right here, it's very ominous music, you know, setting the tone. So first we met the vice principal. I missed it. Okay, so how big of a problem is vaping in our school today? Fairly big at this point. Friday is especially, as you can see, these are some of the vapes that I've taken away. This is a bag that was beginning at the school year. This is shortly after. And then this is my most recent. And then this is wax pens for weed. So I would say fairly big this week, or no, last week. Last week on Friday, we collected over a dozen between wax pens and tobacco. And yesterday was around 7 or 8. Today, 1, 2, 3, I think today was 3. It was a slow day for a Friday. How has it increased in the school year environment, and what has been the trend? I don't know that it's increased. I just know, I don't know that it's increased. I think this is just the kind of thing that kids do now. What are the changes you see academically and socially among kids who vape? So socially is interesting because you'll see kids who don't normally hang out with other kids, and then you see them in a group and you're like, those two don't really have a lot in common. Typically it's because they're passing something back and forth. So socially, it's very strange academically. You'll hear kids want to leave class, go to the restroom, and use or take a hit of their vape or whatever, and then come back to class. So they're missing instructional minutes every single time they leave the class. And then we met with the sheriff's department. And this is where I come out. And so this is the deputy for the school resource officer for the Morongo Basin. So do you see a correlation between vaping and crime amongst the youth? He said in terms of crime, he does see a correlation. And with youth, usually the ones that are committing crimes, they're always more or less the ones that are, you know, the bad side of kids at school, and the ones that are out. It's been a big uptick in my area in terms of kids using those electronic vapes. Why do you think they, well, besides easing their mind, why do you think they do it? Addiction. It's usually just a big addiction within the actual students. I've asked a couple of them, why do they do it? And some of them are like, oh, my friends, I see it's my friends doing it. Oh, I've been doing it since I was 8 years old and I can't stop anymore. And it just turns from vaping every day to doing even more stuff. And so, armed with the information we learned from others, we set out to inform the youth about the dangers of vaping. So we designed these posters and we put them up across the schools. And even though some of them were taken down, we didn't stop and we kept putting them right back up. But not only that, we also put on a City Youth Olympics event to entertain the youth and inform them about the dangers of vaping at the same time. And also, by the way, this is supposed to be more uplifting, so, you know, picture like happy puppies, butterflies, rainbows, you know. Yeah, yeah. And there's Councilman Wright. And then there's a pledge not to vape. You too can make a difference in the community. Encourage people you know to stop vaping today. And the end. Okay. And so we also decided to gather a survey from the youth because we feel that they're not really being seen or heard. So we're like, okay, let's give you guys a voice. So what do you have to tell us? So the respondents were between the ages of 7 to 18, so high school and middle school and elementary. So youth feelings on representation. Many of the youth feel unseen or unheard, highlighting gaps in representation and the need for greater visibility. The common youth hangout places, there really aren't any. Some of them spend time at the Lucky Park, skate park, or at their friends' houses as social events. Challenges and safe spaces. 40% reported there is nowhere for them to hang out. Many youth reported lack of safe, welcoming spaces due to concerns about safety, the heat in 29 Palms, shade, and accessibility. The importance of engagement. Engaging youth through proactive programs provides feelings of safety, belonging, and reduces negative behaviors. And vaping. Top requested programs and events. Sports programs. Youth seek diverse sports opportunities, including basketball, soccer, volleyball, and inclusive options for all genders. They also requested arts and creative programs. Arts, music, dance, and theater programs were highly requested to foster youth creativity and expression. Community events, concerts, festivals, parades, and culturally themed events are popular desires for social engagement amongst the youth. And indoor recreational spaces such as arcades, roller skating rinks, and gaming spaces address climate challenges, and provide safe fun. Whoops. They also, a lot of them, said that they wanted a dedicated teen center to offer a safe, age-appropriate space for youth to gather and engage. Expanded youth programming, offering diverse programs including sports, arts, music, STEM, and leadership supports varied youth interests. Increased community events, more frequent and visible events like concerts and festivals foster community pride and social connection, as well as improved communication and youth council. So stronger outreach through schools, social media, and youth council rebuilds trust and engagement. And this is our little, come join us, it's fun. So we're accepting applications for the 2026-2027 term for youth council. Thank you very much.
Okay, our next presentation is Re-Enlist to Life, Housing and Veteran Services Overview.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Mintz, esteemed council members, and a special thanks to Congresswoman Ramirez, who's been instrumental in assisting Re-Enlist to Life navigating this process, especially with San Bernardino County. We are here to present Re-Enlist to Life and the project at 605 Indian Trail. We are a disabled veteran business entity. Dedicated to serving veterans. I'd like to introduce the founder and principal systems architect, Robert Embry.
Good evening. Re-Enlist Life is here to show the community a blueprint for how a complex, high-impact human service infrastructure should be designed and capitalized. We propose to do so in the city and county that houses the largest Marine Corps installation in the nation. Re-Enlist Life's veteran campus will be a monumental signal to those wishing to serve the veteran community. This development was not a haphazard idea. It was a 2-year collection of information and case studies to ensure that it was the first of its kind. And every avenue of failure of these case studies were addressed. Through our progress from concept to proposal, we have secured Senate and Assembly support, pre-vetted and ready for execution. This is a dignified ecosystem embraced by clinical health and vocational reskilling, teamed with safety and housing and elimination of food scarcity. We address multiple transitional issues at once for veterans experiencing or at risk of homelessness. Re-Enlist to Life has a lot to offer to those navigating transition, starting specifically with military culture. Not only because we understand it, but because we have lived it. Our ethos. Re-Enlist to Life builds restorative community environments for resilient transitioning veterans. Re-Enlist to Life, again, is a disabled veteran business entity staffed with veterans who are highly trained in military culture and hyper-focused on sustainable results. We redefine the transition for service members and justice-involved veterans to civilian life as a focused, supportive mission. Our approach, again, is stabilized housing to ensure safety, elimination of food scarcity, clinical integration for proactive behavioral health in partnership with a mindful you, education, vocational empowerment to reclaim professional purpose. The blueprint for Re-Enlist to Life was forged within the most challenging environments of the justice and transitional systems, where the one-size-fits-all approach to veteran support consistently fails. We recognize that the transition from service is a complex translation of skills and identify what traditional systems often overlook. By identifying the specific catalysts that lead to justice involvement, we ensure they are met with strategic support rather than systemic silence, turning a potential crisis into a successful transition. Here you see our conceptual design, the plan for the facility. In the center there is our clinical and administrative building. The beautiful metal sculpture is what we call the monumental healing garden. It represents our geographic location. And then what is off of this plan is a full service kitchen and a satellite clinical building with a mindful you. We are building dignified modern housing. We're using the S2A Greenlux Model 6 units, on-site clinical office, healing garden, and meditative sculpture, native landscaping. Here's our conceptual design of our sculpture up close. Again, it represents the geographic area of 29 Palms, brought to life by Re-Enlist to Life. We are hyper-focused on personal development for everyone in our residency. We are SkillBridge liaisons, contracted and currently working with Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center. We are certified sponsors for service members and veterans through Onward Ops. We are a certified employer site for service members and veterans through Next Stop. And we are on call 24/7 for veteran crisis and immediate response. Our clinical oversight includes 24-hour, 7-day-a-week supportive services, individual therapy with a mindful you, group cognitive behavioral therapy, a proprietary California Department of Corrections approved program that I currently run, on-site crisis intervention, and supplemental services provided by community partners like Dr. Sunder at Karma Doctors and Associates. I'm going to allow Danny to read a letter to the community. It's important that while you're listening to this, that you realize that all staff are longstanding community members. The only outsider essentially is me. I replanted here. I did serve here on base 2000 to 2008. I came back to paint a masterpiece, and I'd like to do that together. Re-Enlist Life cares about the well-being of the community and our veteran demographic. We hire local, we stay local, we spend local. Re-Enlist Life looks forward to giving back to the community. We are proud to be adding sustainable housing while proactively addressing the crisis at hand.
To the resident and stakeholders of San Bernardino County and 29 Palms, at Re-Enlist to Life, our mission is rooted in the belief that service doesn't end when a veteran hangs up their uniform. However, we recognize that some of our nation's heroes, the transition back to civilian life involves overcoming significant hurdles. As we develop our 16-unit veteran campus, I want to speak directly to you about the high standards and strict eligibility requirements of the men and women who will call this community home. The individuals served by our program are not here by chance. Our residents have navigated the exhaustive oversight of the California Board of Parole, hearing and meet specific CDCR eligibility designations for community-based reentry. It is important to note that our program maintains strict exclusionary criteria to ensure the safety and harmony of our neighborhood. Under our operating guidelines and in alignment with California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation safety protocols, individuals with convictions for sex offenses pursuant to PC 290 are strictly excluded from our program. Individuals with recent or high-risk violent criminal histories are ineligible for residency. To be granted parole and subsequent placement in a program like ours, an individual must demonstrate years, often decades, of rehabilitation, accountability, and psychological growth. They are vetted through exhaustive clinical evaluations and legal reviews to ensure they no longer pose a threat to public safety. When a veteran arrives at our facility, they have already proven to their commitment to change at the highest authorities in the state. But we understand trust is built on results. In our joint experience leading and developing these specialized transitional programs, we have maintained a 0% recidivism rate. This success is not an accident. It is a result of structured, disciplined environment that mirrors the military values our veterans once lived by. By providing stable housing, behavioral health support through our partners at A Mindful You and a community of peers, we ensure that our residents are not just staying out of trouble, they are actively contributing to the local economy and social fabric. Our residents are your neighbors. They are individuals you will see at grocery stores, the community events, and in local places of worship. They are skilled, disciplined, and eager to prove their worth to the community. That sits right next to the Marine Corps installation many of them once called home. We ask that you view them as we do, vetted, capable individuals who have earned their place back in society and are now focused on a singular mission, successfully re-enlisting in the community. That's our letter to the community. It's on our website. It's also a promise from us to the community. We're families in this community, we're veterans in this community, and we want to serve veterans in this community. We're in this together.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Okay. Council comments, reports, and meetings attended. Councilmember Bildring.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the CDBG committee meeting, and that will come up later in the agenda. Participated in the Remembrance 5K walk run aboard the base on Friday morning. I did more walking and running, so getting old. I felt it on Saturday too, and had meetings with citizens on various topics. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Ramirez.
Just a minute, I'm gonna So for the past 3 weeks, I've been on the road. I've been at multiple conferences, multiple committee meetings. So here is a not so brief, but as brief as I could make it, update on some of the events and meetings that I attended over the last few weeks. So first and foremost, I want to thank my husband for his continued support while balancing service to our community and our family and believing in me and believing in what I'm doing in this community. Nothing that I'm going to say next would be possible without him. I attended the city-county conference, and one of the biggest takeaways from this was that the county is focused on economic development and future opportunities available to rural communities like ours. One of the major benefits coming out of the federal Big Beautiful Bill is the extension and modernization of opportunity zones, now referred to Opportunity Zones 2.0. For those unfamiliar, Opportunity Zones are federally designated areas to attract private investment into underserved communities through tax incentives. The goal is to encourage redevelopment, business growth, housing investment, and job creation in regions like ours that historically struggle to attract large-scale capital investments. I also attended Reach Out Morongo Basin Memorial Day Barbecue. At the Senior Center, Miss Robin, respectfully, I know that you think your calling is to serve seniors, but I think that you missed your calling as barbecue pitmaster. And as someone from Texas, you should take that compliment very serious. Thank you for everything you do. I attended the Memorial Day service at the Joshua Tree Cemetery. It was a beautiful reminder that regardless of the city, board, or organization that we represent, we are strongest when we show up together as one community to honor those who served our nation. I also want to briefly acknowledge a medical emergency that I recently assisted with in our community, and honestly, it may have been one of the most honorable emergency responses that I've ever been a part of because of the actions of one Marine. During this emergency, after we determined that there was no AED immediately available on site, Staff Sergeant Rooney ran to 9 nearby businesses trying to locate a functioning AED while I rendered medical assistance. Quite frankly, I give Staff Sergeant Rooney the credit for helping save that individual's lives. His actions embodied the true meaning of service, urgency, and never giving up on another human being. So, Staff Sergeant Rooney, are you here today? Thank you. Thank you, sir. I was also deeply honored to attend the Tribal Leaders Emergency Preparedness and Energy Summit, where I was the only elected official invited to participate alongside leadership from over 104 federally recognized tribes. The summit included leaders from Southern California Edison, Pacific Gas and Electric Company, and San Diego Gas and Electric, as well as representatives from the California Energy Commission, California Public Utilities Commission, the Governor's Office, and the United States Department of Energy. One of the biggest discussions centered around emergency preparedness, energy independence, infrastructure, and how state mandates are impacting our tribal and rural communities alike. I met with representatives from the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services to discuss the serious flooding concerns in our region and that we face during monsoonal season due to the lack of adequate flood channels and stormwater. I also attended San Bernardino East Desert Regional Steering Committee meeting where I was honored to be named co-chair representing the government sector. This is significant because prior to my election, our city did not have consistent representation at this regional board. And now, not only we have representation, but we have leadership from both the public sector and the government sector that is being represented by Twentynine Palms. This Saturday, I also helped coordinate a Proposition 36 enforcement and outreach operation alongside the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department and multiple community partners. I would like to thank Morongo Basin Arch under the new direction of Alfreda Wright, Molding Hearts under the direction of Lakita Johnson, and Becky Reese from Family Jewish Services, the Hope Team, San Bernardino Inroads, and all of the mental health professionals who participated on site. At our last meeting, I shared that over $200,000 in emergency funding had been allocated to our region. Since then, we have secured an additional $167,000. Whether people like it or not, Prop 36 and Prop 1 are now law in California, and local governments are expected to comply with the directions set by the voters in the state. I also helped host a military spouse appreciation luncheon, and we had a really good turnout, and I look forward to doing more of that. And I want to acknowledge the residents specifically of District 2. Thank you. I've driven around and I've personally seen at least 13 homes recently cleaned up. Debris has moved, and I genuinely appreciate the pride that residents are taking in our community. Lastly, I want to briefly discuss Proposition 13. For those unfamiliar, Proposition 13 limits property tax increases and requires voter approval for certain tax changes in California. When I learned that there were discussions that could potentially weaken those protections, I became deeply concerned because when property taxes goes up, rent goes up too. and many working families in our city simply cannot absorb that cost. I joined the coalition, and we needed 500,000 verified signatures statewide to place the issue before voters this November. I'm proud to say that our grassroots coalition got 1.35 million verified signatures, and the state will no longer be able to raise your property taxes without your permission, as Prop 13 was intended to protect. So I want to thank Mayor Daniel Mintz, Councilmember Stephen Bildering, Kat Rachmuth, and David Cole from King of the Hammers for supporting my grassroots efforts. Finally, I'll close with this. A lot of people told me that I was wasting my time. A lot of people told me that I was crazy to challenge the state. But history has shown that the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world often do.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Wright?
Man, I was supposed to follow all that. Like, I ain't been doing nothing. So I did attend the Smitty's Flea Market grand opening. And also to let everybody know Warhawks football is going, and we take all genders for football. So if you're interested, come and see me. And that's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the Memorial Day ceremony at the Joshua Tree Memorial Park, the 20th anniversary of the Navy Federal building here in 29 Palms, the Reach Out Barbecue, and the grand opening at Smitty's.
Thank you. Let's see. Well, so I attended the City County Conference up in Lake Arrowhead. I went to the grand opening for Smitty's Flea Market. He's doing that twice a month now. I think it's the 1st and 3rd. Also went to the Navy Fed Credit Union 20-year anniversary. That building's been here 20 years. They had a nice little event go on there all day. Went to the Reach Out 29 barbecue. Sounds like I was eating a lot. Also met with Councilman Bellarain with the CGB grant committee meeting. And our softball team won their first softball CIF game on a Friday. We played again on Monday, but unfortunately lost in the top of the 7th inning, so we got put out in the second round. But it was a really good season. I'm really proud of all the players that played this year. So, and that's all I have. Okay. Consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar to be considered routine by the City Council will be acted on one motion in the form listed. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately by the City Council. The public will be given an opportunity to comment on the consent calendar items prior to the City Council action. Does anybody want to pull any items from the consent calendar? Seeing none. Okay. Okay, you want to make a comment? Okay, we have a member of public wants to make a comment on number 11. Heather Drake. Okay. And Elliot Baisley wants to make a comment on item number 9. So come on up.
Hello. Yes, I wanted to I have a question about item number 9. This is the sheriff's contract renewal. I don't know if you don't mind clicking on that. So this contract is about $6.7 million, and it shows an expense line for SLEF, $195,000, Supplemental Local Law Enforcement Fund. And I just wanted to get some clarity on what that expense is, because my understanding is SLEF is not an expense at all. It's like a grant that the state gives to the city every year, and then it's supposed to be spent on a specific law enforcement item. So last year, about $100,000 of that was spent on flock cameras. This year, I just want to understand, why is that listed as an expense? And if the council approves this budget as it stands, showing that expense, would that then allow that 195,000 to be spent on the flock renewal without another vote? Because my understanding from talking to some council members here is that when the flock contract is up for renewal, that would be the appropriate time to discuss whether or not we want to pay for these cameras. But I'm concerned that if we vote this in today on the consent calendar and sort of pre-authorize this 195,000 as a general fund, it might avoid a future discussion. So, yeah, just hoping someone.
Abigail, do you have an answer to that?
Yes, so that's correct. We do. We do receive a grant from the state for through the CAPS program, so that's gonna fund the frontline enforcement services. So for the budget, I have to present the expense and also the revenue. The revenue is shown in the general fund budget. It's not shown there, but in the general fund budget, you'll see a line for the grant that we receive annually. And if we don't show an expense, then the city cannot use those funds. So I have to show the incoming revenue and the expense. They're gonna offset each other and they're not general fund money, but I still have to present it. And then to answer the next question, so every expense that we receive, every request that we receive from the Sheriff's Department to utilize the funds, it has to go through a review process. If it's over $25,000, then it has to be presented to City Council. So even though we have $195,000, it's not specific to a purpose yet. So when the annual renewal for the flock comes around, if it's over that $25,000, we have to bring it back to City Council for approval.
Okay, thank you. That answers it.
Okay, thank you. Heather Drake, you had a comment about item number 11.
So I just want to mention that it's asking for the public to pay very close attention to their septic systems and the groundwater damage that they can cause. I would like to once again make sure that you guys please address long-term rental units or rental management companies, because I personally lived in under Triad. I rented from Triad for over 7 years, and they never once checked my septic tank, resulting in the thing, even though I repeatedly asked them to. I told them there was issues repeatedly. I have all the emails. It resulted in a giant hole opening up in my backyard and sewage contaminating my entire backyard. Very dangerous situation. And then the home that I bought after that, I found out was also previously managed by Triad, and it also had an illegal leach line coming from the washing machine into my backyard that started to smell like dead bodies as soon as it got hot. So it's not just the public that needs to be aware of this. You guys, please bring it to these long-term rentals, because I am not the only one that has stated this problem, especially with Triad Realty and with Heidi Steele. Thank you.
All right. Okay, back up here to the council. Looking for a motion?
I move the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Bilderrain?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ramirez?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott?
Aye.
Mayor Mintz?
Aye.
Approved by vote.
Thank you. Okay, public hearings. Proposed revisions to the general fund budget for fiscal year 2026-27.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, members of this community. Tonight in front of you are the proposed budget revisions for fiscal year 26-27. As I mentioned in our last meeting, the fiscal year 26-27 is the second year of the 2-year budget adopted in June of last year. And the budget revisions must be approved and adopted by no later than June 30, 2026, just in time for the new fiscal year. The budget revisions address some of the strategic priorities adopted in the city's 5-year strategic plan, including financial sustainability, enhanced local character, improved infrastructure, and access to resources. Here's the summary of the proposed budget revisions from the original budget. I will discuss in more detail some of these items listed here, but one thing that, or the most important thing to take out of this slide is that we have a balanced budget for fiscal year 26-27. And then this is a chart that shows the operating revenues and operating expenditures over a period of 7 years. As you can see, in the recent years, the gap between those revenues and expenditures are continuing to close, mainly due to the continuing rising costs in the sheriff's contract. These are the top revenues for fiscal year 26-27. As I mentioned in our last meeting, the net taxable property assessed values are projected to increase by no more than 5% from fiscal year 25-26, which is much less than the 11% and 12% increase from fiscal year 22-23 and 23-24 respectively. As such, revenues for property tax and property tax in lieu were adjusted downwards. As you can see on the table, property tax was reduced by almost $89,000, and property tax in lieu by $160,000. Sales tax, franchise fees, building and road permit fees are projected to either stay stagnant or reduce or decline slightly in the upcoming fiscal year. TOT, the city staff tends to be more conservative with TOT, mainly because of the unpredictability of the economic market, and then also to just have a safety net for unexpected costs that arise during a given year. But given our sheriff's contract and the increase, I'm adjusting it upwards to $2 million, which is more in line with what we've received in prior years. Interest revenue, we continue to see favorable interest yields, so that was increased by $80,000. We can expect to continue to see those favorable investment yields in the upcoming fiscal year. As far as where our revenues come from, this chart shows all of our operating revenues, which excludes the reserves and transfers in. Property tax in lieu, vehicle license fees, sales tax, and TOT account for 79% of the city's total operating revenues. In terms of where the money goes, law enforcement services and salary and benefits account for 73% of the city's total operating revenues, of the city's total operating expenditures. And then this table shows our expenditures by department. I'll touch on the red highlights there. For city council, there was a proposed increase that was supposed to take effect at the beginning of this year, but the process was delayed, so the proposed $700 per council member is going to take effect in January of next year. So that's why you'll see a decrease of $28,000. For the non-departmental budget, let's see. We have a decrease of $103,000 in liability and property insurance, mainly driven by lower premiums than I had previously anticipated. And then also an increase of $160,000 in the pre-funding of the city's pension unfunded accrued liability, and an increase of $130,000 in proposed transfers out, which I'll be discussing in more detail in subsequent slides. For code enforcement, the department has been increased by $26,000 to account for program costs and legal fees associated with the dangerous building abatements. I'll touch in more detail on the law enforcement department. And community services and parks department was decreased by almost $170,000. mainly due to the retirement of the community services director at the beginning of fiscal year 25-26. And the savings were offset by the promotion of one of the park supervisors to manager. Continuing with our conversation on the sheriff's contract. So the final proposed contract is 7.4% higher, or $429,000 higher compared to the current fiscal year. And the main reason was the increase in higher insurance and liability premiums. And then this is actually a better number than what we originally received. The preliminary proposal was 10% increase in the overall contract, which was mainly driven by an increase of $293,000 in insurance and personal liability and bonding premiums. The county did approve a one-time subsidy to help contract cities with this unexpected increase. And so the city's contract was reduced by $126,000. But I contacted the county, and I was told that this subsidy was a one-time. So we can see similar increases in the upcoming fiscal years. On this table, we have the cost of living adjustments over the past 11 years. And as presented in our last meeting, the proposed COLA for fiscal year 26-27 is at 3.1%. And here we have a table of one-time costs and the transfers out for the fiscal year 26-27. We have a proposed $200,000 for additional pension contributions, $50,000 for grant purchases, and $25,000 for food allocation plan and comprehensive user fee study. The last study that we had was adopted almost 6 years ago, and it's best practice to revise the user fee every 5 years. So we're just in time. And then transfers out, we have $160,000 to the capital projects fund for self-funding, also $50,000 for playground equipment, $40,000 for project management costs for related to the CDBG project, and $15,000 for a dump truck for parks maintenance crew, and $17,000 towards the fund for a street sweeper. The street sweeper is not going to cost $17,000, but we're putting aside money every year as we get money from BirdTech. And the last two items I'll discuss in the presentation that I'll be bringing to City Council on June 23rd, because there's a potential conflict of interest. So I just wanted to put those items there, but I won't be discussing them, and there's not going to be an action taken on those two items. Then for the fund balance for fiscal year 26-27, we're expecting a healthy unassigned balance of $12 million, which can be used for emergencies or one-time costs, but not ongoing operating expenditures. And then the next two slides are just a summary of what I just covered, but I did want to touch bases on the Joint Powers Authority for the San Bernardino Regional Housing Trust. So the first year, the fees or the dues, the membership dues, are projected between $10,000 to $30,000, and then by the third year, the membership dues are projected between $25,000 and $40,000. So the purpose of this JPA is to facilitate the acquisition, construction, rehabilitation, financing, and preservation of affordable housing, serving extremely low, very low, low and moderate income households, including those experiencing homelessness. And the city currently puts aside $25,000 to fund housing and homeless programs. So one of the things that, as we continue to see this rising cost, maybe for council's consideration to use this $25,000 towards the membership dues, since it will basically meet the same purpose. But there's no, I didn't decrease the budget here, but that's something to consider in the future. And the recommendation for tonight is for City Council to Review and approve the proposed revisions to the general fund for fiscal year 26-27. Approve the employees' cost of living adjustment of 3.1%. And approve the wage scale for fiscal year 26-27. And approve the interfund transfers for fiscal year 26-27 from the general fund to the capital projects fund in the amount of $282,000 to fund $160,000 for self-funding of the capital projects fund, $50,000 for playground equipment, $40,000 for project management of the CDBG project, $15,000 for dump truck needed by parks maintenance crew, and $17,000 up to $120,000 per year to fund the future acquisition of the new street sweeper. And I am available to take any questions.
Council have any questions for Abigail?
I have one question, ma'am. There is new legislation that's proposed to pass June of 2026, AB 1383, which would change and increase the Public Employees Retention Reform Act. So this 3.1, if this passes, I'm reading it right now, it says it would establish a new 3% at 55 formula that is prospective and subject to collective bargaining, and it also reduces the retirement age from public safety employees from 57 to 55. Considering that we're already in that range where we need to start transferring money, where we probably will be operating at a deficit soon, if this was to change from 3.1% to 6.1%, what would that look like? And is that something for us to have in mind before we finalize the budget?
I'll have to look at the actual legislation. What is the number?
AB 1383.
AB 1383. Yeah, but so something like that, it would be somewhere in $100,000 to $150,000.
More?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
I also think that legislation has to do with the formula that we use in PERS. Right now we have 2.5% at 55. I think the ability to change that to 3.1% at 57. So it wouldn't necessarily affect us unless we changed that formula.
And
Well,
then,
that's
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I said I'll share the call to action that they sent out so that we're all on the same page.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Okay. I'll open this up to the public. Anybody have the public any comments on this item? Seeing none, to get no slips for it, I'll bring it back to council. Any more discussion or a motion?
I make a motion to revise the general fund budget for fiscal year 26-27, adjust for the cost of living of 3.1% wage schedule for fiscal year 2026-27, and approve the following interfund transfers for fiscal year 26-27 from general fund to capital projects fund, $282,000.
Okay, you have to include the resolution also.
Oh, sorry, what's the resolution? 2612.
Okay, looking for a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Ramirez?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Bilderay?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott?
Aye.
Mayor Mintz?
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Item number 13, amendments to the master citywide user fee schedule for FY 26-27.
That would also be me. Well, thank you again. So the presentation tonight is, actually I don't have a presentation for that, so if you could pull up if you could pull up the staff report, that would be greatly appreciated. So this is almost just a recurring item where every year the city schedule is approved by CPI. So this year's CPI is going to be 3.1%, and that's what the fee schedule was adjusted to, but not the state fee, not state mandated fees, or the sewer fee or the solar energy fees. Those were not adjusted by that 3.1%. The the original fee schedule was adopted back in 2020 using the 2018 and 2019 budgets. So as I was mentioning earlier during my other presentation, we're in time to overdue for another fee schedule revision. And so that basically we'll have an opportunity to include our current operating costs. And you know, before it gets approved, it would give council an opportunity to decide how much you want to subsidize for these fees. But in addition to the CPI changes to the master fee schedule, there's also the ancillary activities and business entertainment fees. As you can see on page 2, 13, and 29. Those were approved via ordinance number 327 back in January of 27 of this year. And so those were added to the fee schedule per the approved ordinance. Then as far as the amended fees, on page 10 and 11, the adult sports, we had a line for a per team rate. But there's been some issues with collecting the fees when done as a group, so we converted the per rate per team to per player rate, and that's just to help, you know, with the process. The summer day camp was the description was just amended from 10-week program to a 9-week program to align with the Morongo Unified School District summer schedule. And then the gymnasium cleaning deposit was increased from 144 to 155 to be in line with the cleaning fee for other facility rentals, since the gym is larger than the other facilities. And then for planning, on page 13, we just reinstated the fee as it was approved back in 2021, but unfortunately it was removed from the schedule in fiscal year 24-25, so we're just putting it back. And then the engineering, the inspection fee for public road improvements, the fee was amended many years ago from 1% to 2%, but the schedule was not adjusted accordingly, so we're reflecting the correct rate. And then vehicle toll fee. So the vehicle toll fee on page 31, I'm sorry, I'm going too fast, but if you go to page 31, the vehicle toll fee was $48 for many years, and as you know, fuel is going up, and so this fee was increased to $100, and that's still below what other cities and counties in California are charging. So San Bernardino is charging $349, Town of Yucca Valley $100, Colton between $150 to $250, Rialto $216.80. The city of Redlands is charging between $175 to almost $300. The county sheriff is charging $155, and so on. So as you can see, the fee's still below what other cities are charging. And I just wanted to, if you go back to the staff report, I just wanted to show you what the program revenues are from collecting these fees versus what the city is subsidizing. So for animal control, the general fund is subsidizing 88%, while community services is subsidizing 84%, and community development is subsidizing 40%. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for Abigail? Seeing none, open the public hearing. Anybody from the public? Do we have any slips, Cindy? No slips? Okay, bring it back to council for further discussion or a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the amendments to the city's master user fee schedule for fiscal year 26-27.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ramirez?
Aye.
Councilmember Buildering?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Aye.
Mayor Mintz.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Thank you. All right, discussion and potential action item, subcommittee recommendations for contributions to nonprofit organizations. That would be Mr. Cleanscales.
Alrighty, good evening, everyone. On May 12th, we hosted the 2026-2027 Contributions to Nonprofits Grant Workshop. 11 local organizations had the opportunity to present their work and funding requests directly to the council, with one organization unable to attend the workshop. At the time of the workshop, applicants were informed that $75,000 in funding was available for the upcoming fiscal year. Following the workshop, it was determined that due to budget constraints, the available funding would need to be reduced to $50,000. The subcommittee carefully reviewed all 12 applications in light of that revised amount and is bringing forward the following recommendations tonight. $25,000 for the 29 Palms Community Food Pantry and Outreach Ministries, Inc., $15,000 for Reach Out Morongo Basin, and $10,000 for Animal Action League. These three organizations represent a combined funding total of $50,000. Staff's recommendation is that the City Council approve the subcommittee's suggested contributions as presented.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody from the public like to make any comments? Do we have any slips? No slips? Okay, bring back to council. Any further discussion? Sorry we had to reduce it, but that's just, the budgets just got squeezed a little bit tighter, so we addressed food, obviously the seniors, and to do the animal, so we could get neutering done for our animals in the city. So that's how we divvied it up. So.
Spade too, right?
What's that?
Spade too, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's the, yes. Okay, I'm. All right, yes. Equal opportunity.
Yes.
All right.
I think the subcommittee did a good job. I know it's not easy when we have such a small budget. I do suggest for some of these nonprofits that there are other opportunities within the city. For example, the Public Arts Committee and the TBID committee board as well. If you're looking for funding sources for specific projects in the arts and entertainment.
Okay. All right. Looking for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the staff's recommendations for, contributions to nonprofit organizations.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
I heard Scott for a second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Buildering.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ramirez.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Aye.
Mayor Mintz.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Thank you, Scott. All right. Okay, number 15, introduce ordinance number which increases city council monthly compensation to $700. Who's doing that one? What?
I said I'll do it. Give me something to do for first meeting. So apparently, before Councilmember Klink left office, he brought this forward as an opportunity to increase the stipend that council members get for their service, and it hadn't been increased since, well, for 24 years. So kind of the same stipend for quite some time, and the law changed where they were able to increase that amount up to, I believe it's $900, $950 for council members. I think after some discussion that occurred before I got here, but it was decided that a nice round number that raised the stipend to cover the cost of what it costs to be a council member to $700 was a suggestion. As Abigail pointed out, this wouldn't go into effect until after the next council election. So it would be for any council members seated after that time. And so that's what's before you today.
Okay, any questions for staff? Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Any slips? No slips? Okay, anybody? No. Okay, bring it back to council.
So I need to read the ordinance in its entirety before you make a motion,
Okay.
because we're introducing it. We're introducing and approving the first reading of ordinance number 328, which reads, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of 29 Palms, California, approving an increase in compensation for members of the City Council to take effect after the November 2026 municipal election and amending 29 Palms Municipal Code, Section 2.04.020 accordingly.
Okay, now we ready for motion?
All right, I
now
make
we're
a motion that the city council introduce and approve first reading of ordinance number 328.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion to second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Buildering?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ramirez?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott?
Aye.
Mayor Mintz?
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, future council initiated items. There's one on here, Mac, I think you brought this up about the Caltrans on Downell Hill. Did you see that they cleaned off the whole east lane, bound lane? They cleaned off the whole shoulder and that, so now there's actually a clear path going over Downell Hill. So is that okay with you if they can, okay. Yeah, it actually did quite a bit of work, quite a bit of dirt got removed from there, obviously.
And also at the bottom of the hill on the north side, they filled in some of those washed out areas, making it easier to walk along that shoulder also.
Okay. All right. We can take.
But at night, you can't see that trail. And that's why everyone's on the road on Donnell Hill. So is there...
There is a path on the north side that is below, which is probably the safer place to travel anyway,
Right.
being that the road is. But a lot of the dirt was in the way for anybody traveling,
Right.
you know, with a bike or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
SCE would have to light that, and I believe we'd be at our expense if we.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably have to get Caltrans approval anyway.
Approval, so.
And that's what I was talking about. I'm the one about that safe passage for Donnell Hill.
Oh, I thought Mac.
I thought it
Mac
was
did.
you.
Oh.
No, it was me.
Okay, so, well then, do you want to leave that on there so they can look into
Let's look
if
at the light.
Caltrans can do some lighting? Okay,
Yes.
we'll just leave that on there then, and if you can.
I mean, it could be those solar lights when you walk, it lights up as you go, and then
Yeah.
it turns off. I mean, I'm not
Okay.
the smartest man in the room, but I'm sure they can figure it out.
No, we have that. They have, I've seen
No,
those
they
at
got- they
parks.
could pay good money to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought that was a Mac one, sorry, Stephen. Well. All right, so does anybody have any other items they want to add?
Mr. Mayor, can we see that the cooling center hours come forward to the next council meeting?
Yeah, we'll look into that. I had some discussions early on with the recreation department, and we're extending our hours at the Freedom Plaza, and it might be a way to just adjust where our cooling center is without incurring additional costs.
Sounds
So
good. Thank you.
It may be a different way to do it.
No, that's something that management can just make that happen. Does it have to vote?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. We'll bring a report back to tell you what we've decided how we've managed that.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I have two really quick. One that we bring back to review and authorize any repairs needed at the charging station at Freedom Plaza.
Well, that doesn't mean, that's not that's you just tell the city manager.
Again, we'll take a look.
I think it's outside of his signing authority.
We'll take a look at what that cost is. If we need to bring something back that's outside of my authority, then that'll happen.
Okay.
Perfect. And then my second one would be to review and revise Municipal Code Chapter 5.08, which is essentially cannabis-related uses, commercial cannabis activities, deliveries, and cultivation, to bring us up to par with new legislation and state law.
They changed the law where they can make us grow it on the outside besides the 5-6 plants? Okay. Okay, well, does anybody want to second that?
Bring it back for education for us, right? I mean, so we can see what's, but about it, see the changes. I'll second it.
Okay. Does that
We
need
certainly add that to the list.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Public comments. This is the time for the public to address the city council on issues within the jurisdiction of the city council is not on this agenda. All comments are to be directed to the city council and shall not be considered by any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional and courteous decorum during this comments. There is time limit 3 minutes per person. If you haven't already done so, please fill out your name, slip, and address and give them to the city clerk. The city council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. Public comments on specific agenda items are deferred and considered on the item on the agenda. Okay, we got some letters. We got one from Clarence Buckner. He wants us to find somebody to go into the old Rite Aid building, preferably another pharmacy. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters about anti-flock cameras from Dan Barber, Stephen Downer, Heather H., Victor Lewis, and Beth Seifeld. I'm assuming everybody got those letters, but they're
Yes.
all those letters are anti-flock.
No, one of them is pro-flock.
One of them is? Oh, which one?
Dan Barber.
Oh, well, I guess I didn't see that one. Well, then we have one pro, one that is okay with them. Okay. Okay. So I'll just go up this one here. Okay, Heather Drake.
Good evening, Mayor and council members and public. I'm here tonight because the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department is operating the City of 29 Palms flock system in direct violation of California law, and they are completely stonewalling public transparency. I request that my full comment tonight be recorded in the official city minutes. Under state law, specifically Senate Bill 34, anyone operating these automated license plate readers must be completely transparent. That means having a public-facing audit portal so the community can see how the data is being used. The Sheriff's Department completely refuses to provide one. Worse, they are actively breaking the California Public Records Act. Since early February, I have been trying to get basic public records about local flock data and queries, specifically asking if my own vehicle or person have been run through the system. I have the legal right to this information, but instead I have been hit with a wall of excuses. First, they repeatedly blow past the legal 10-day deadline without requesting lawful extensions, making me wait up to a month every single time. Then they gave me a laundry list of changing excuses to deny my requests for nearly 4 months. In their official denial, they threw a bunch of legal jargon at me, claiming that flock data counts as intelligence information and investigatory files. They told me that they can legally hide these records forever, even if there is no active investigation happening. To make that even more ridiculous, they used privacy laws against me. They claimed that showing me the records of my own car would violate the privacy rights of the people involved. It's my car. They are claiming that they need to protect my privacy from myself. That is absurd. You cannot run a surveillance program in 29 Palms without accountability. If the Sheriff's Department refuses to follow state law, refuses to let the public audit the system, and denies citizens the right to see their own records, then the program is operating outside of the law. Please do your job and protect our privacy. I demand that you immediately cover the cameras up, agendize this issue, cancel the contract, and have these cameras removed entirely. Thank you.
Elliot Baisley? No? Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Andrew Wilson?
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Wilson, a longtime resident in 29 Palms, grew up here. I just really came up here to gloat about Kevin Cole right now. He was my basketball coach growing up, and whenever I needed somebody, Kevin Cole was always there. So I just wanted to say congratulations, sir. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing everything you do with the 29 Palms.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Jess Drake? I coached you in football. Sorry, I had to throw that in there, Kevin.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for letting me speak. I'm standing here to back up a previous speaker because the excuses being fed to our citizens by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department are not just frustrating, they are legally incorrect. Under the California Public Records Act, an agency has 10 days to respond. The Sheriff's Department blowing past deadlines without formal extensions, dragging response times out for up to a month is a flat-out violation of the law. More importantly, let's talk about the legal jargon they used to deny the previous speaker's request. The Sheriff's Department is heavily relying on old case law like Haney versus Superior Court to claim that all flock data is a permanent investigatory file. But the California Supreme Court has already explicitly ruled against this exact excuse for license plate readers. In ACLU versus Superior Court, the state's highest court noted that mass bulk data collection from ALPRs does not constitute an investigatory file because these cameras scan everyone indiscriminately. It is a dragnet, not a targeted investigation into a specific crime. Therefore, the investigatory exemption does not apply to everyday citizen query logs. Furthermore, using privacy exemptions under Government Code Section 7927.700 to block a person from seeing records of their own vehicle is a complete subversion of the law. Privacy exemptions exist to protect citizens from third-party prying, not to shield a law enforcement agency from basic public accountability. This council needs to look at the broader landscape. Flock safety is facing massive scrutiny across California for how data is handled. Neighboring jurisdictions are realizing that you cannot bypass Senate Bill 34's transparency requirements. While the city of San Bernardino maintains a public flock portal to try to stay compliant, the county sheriff's department refuses to do so here in 29 Palms. If our law enforcement partner utilizes illegal tactics to shield a mass surveillance system from public scrutiny, then this council is exposing the city to severe legal liability. Do not let the Sheriff's Department keep this community in the dark. We ask that you pause this program, agendize the contract, and protect the constitutional rights of 29 Palms residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy Bernard.
Hi everybody. I'm seeking my capacity as editor of the Desert Trumpet and not commenting on the content of the meeting or anything that would normally be included in my writing of a city council recap, because that wouldn't be cool. As you are aware, the Desert Trumpet submits public information requests as a part of our investigative reporting. While a few of you do a great job of supplying the documents legally required by the California Public Records Act, others of you are less forthcoming. You know who you are. In fact, documents produced in response to one of our requests show that a council member directed city staff to filter our records response using only, quote, exact keywords, a practice inconsistent with the city's obligation under the California Public Records Act. And just speaking to the youth council concerns, this was in response to our research on what happened to the Boys and Girls Club that sort of went poof when Carrie resigned. I want to publicly request that all council members and city staff help Cindy V and Christina do their jobs by getting them the information they need to assemble complete responses per the law. When council members and other city staff fail to provide the requested documents, it increases staff time, city attorney time, and costs everyone in this room money. And those expenses will increase dramatically if the Desert Trumpet has to enforce our requests. So please, I'm begging you to do your due diligence and promptly return the requested documents. Thanks for your time and service.
Thank you. All right. That was all the slips that I had, so city manager update.
Well, it's day 6 and so far so good. It actually has been great. I want to thank the public. I want to thank the staff. I want to thank the council for welcoming me here. It feels like I'm home. So it's been good so far. A couple of things that I participated in since I got started on Saturday. I was able to participate with the sheriff enforcement event that went on along with Councilmember Scott and Councilmember Ramirez, and our code enforcement staff was out here, and it was a great learning curve for me to be part of that operation, see how things went down. It was a traffic enforcement, OHV enforcement, and a encampment enforcement event. So. It was enlightening, and it helps me to understand the challenges that we face with our own code enforcement and supporting the sheriff. And but I want to thank the sheriff for that enforcement event. I also have been getting up to speed on the sales tax initiative through our consultants, that understanding where that's come from and how we got where we're at, and there'll be more on that to come, but I just want to assure you that I am studying it and figuring out the best way to move forward. One thing I wanted to mention, that over Memorial Day, our public cemetery puts flags on the grave sites out there, and if you haven't been to the public cemetery lately, please go by and check it out. There's tremendous improvement over the years, this last 5-6 years, and it has really turning into a beautiful place, as it always should have been. And so, just one of those things. It's not under the jurisdiction of the city. It's a special district within the city, but I just want to point out it's a great place to visit, and the general manager over there has done a great job of really cleaning it up. So. It's felt a little bit like drinking out of a fire hose, so I'm sure there's lots more for me to tell you, but that's what I have for you today, and we'll be working on things, more acquainted I get with everything, but thank you for hiring me.
All right, thank you. All right, and adjourn this meeting.